Jai Gurudev. Today we will continue reading book Problems of Today, Solution for Tomorrow, written by Pandit Shriram Sharma Acharya. Chapter 5. Simple Solution of Difficult Problems. A piece of land sufficiently fertile can be filled with greenery and made appealing to eye by growing a crop or planting a garden. On the other hand, if it is barren with infestation of salt, not a blade of grass can be grown on it. For acquiring any natural resource from the earth, therefore, it is very necessary to maintain its natural environmental balance. For prosperity, man requires augmentation of variety of comfort and resource. However, growth of prosperity is intimately interlinked with health and development of sentiment consciousness. Where monopolist of land and resources or planner suffers from psychic imbalance, one should not hope for any creativity. On the contrary, this class of individual brings about nothing else than antagonism and destruction. In the foregoing pages, we have discussed that socio-economic uncertainties bordering on anarchy are facing mankind in the shape of an environmental of strife, impending danger of cultural degradation and subjugation. We must soon find a way to eradicate these problems. Any delay is likely to lead us to the point of no return. While administering medical treatment to a chronic patient, although priority is given to cure the disease, yet the next essential step is to help in convalescence so that the patient gains enough physical strength and confidence to lead a normal life. For an individual suffering from physical and mental imbalances, blood poisoning, and numerous viral infections in several parts of the body, even king's wardrobe and beautician's expertise, scents, and perfume will not be of any help. On the other hand, a healthy person with a proportionate body frame, notwithstanding his financial status, does not need any artificial decoration to appear attractive. Besides, he leads a contained and happy life, faces every problem with equanimity, and finds avenue for progress by a variety of means. In essence, resources and environments are not for any significant. What is essential is personal health, talent, and far-sightedness. After acquisition of these attributes, one does not find any help to complain about lack of facilities, nor does he find any resistance in progress. On acceptance of living standard of average citizen, one can comfortably live in a rural setting surrounded by a large fields and small habitation and benefit from the invigorating environment of fresh air and scenic beauty. Culturally involved civilization of ancient time chose such habitat where all necessities of life were acquired by manual labor. In those days, environmental pollution was unheard of, nor there was any crisis created by migration of talents towards the cities. Then neither rural establishments were poorer, sparsely populated, or underdeveloped, or cities were overcrowded, filled with filth, dense population, and they are dense of vices. Adaptation of old model of civilization can even today eradicate the problem which have made human life miserable everywhere. It would also not leave any scope for emergencies of this problem in future. The moment humanity accepts the principle of simple living and high thinking, the numerous problems mentioned earlier will disappear. In spite of existing high rate of crime in the society, when a citizen begins to incorporate hard work, culture, and mobility based on the tenets of honesty, prudence, and courage in life, the adversity will gradually disappear. Nature has equipped this planet with sufficient resource to provide bread and butter for each mouth, clothes for each body, shelter for each head, and employment for every pair of hands. Why should then there be any disparity of poverty and riches? What would then be the basis of continuance of illogical and tormenting customs differentiating people in the name of caste and sex? God has created man for spreading the message of love and helpful coexistence, not for belligerence, instigating violence, and tolerating fellow beings. By forgetting the mad race where each struggle for his own self interest, one can totally get rid of the numerous problems hindering unity and equality amongst men. If nations could save all of their resources, efforts, and talents being utilized for military purpose and use this for establishing a new order, all that is being foreseen for a happy and prosperous 21st century will come to transpire within next 10 years by transformation of the social structure. These days, atomic fuel is being made use for maximum generation of power. If this trend continues, mankind will face a new giant killer of nuclear rejection and atomic radiation. There is only one alternative available. Small powerhouses of the capacity of portable power generators should be constructed with available local resources and with the cumulative production of small cottage industries operating on 1 or 2 horsepowers of electricity, modern needs should be fulfilled. All consumers should be persuaded to make use of such small scale products. Administrative establishments are generally depend on expensive bureaucracy indifferent to responsibilities, in which workers have assumed a position of master of their masters. In such circumstances, there is little hope for effective social welfare. It is desirable to establish decentralized administrative units based on cooperative and entire system should have a benevolent attitude in its operation. In this way only, an ideal administrative system can come into existence which would serve as a medium to achieve the total objective of physical and metaphysical progress. The society is confronted with numerous incongruities and its members with innumerable problems. Unfortunately, the topmost talents and elites of the world are analyzing each of these problems in isolation and making consistent efforts to find out independent solution to each of them in their own way. However, nowhere success appears in sight. Diseases have ever remained out of control in spite of numerous expenditure of man, money, and material on hospitals, doctors, pharmaceuticals, and medical research, nor any degree of politics, enactment of laws, establishment of new courts and prisons, etc., have helped in reducing crimes. Though the popular slogan of remove poverty is quite appealing to the masses, measures like providing heavy amount of bank loans and massive financial assistance have proved to be counterproductive because of corrupt thinking, and evil addiction of the beneficiary. People are bound to find a crux of these numerous problems soon. In the crowd of millions of honeybee, that is problems, that queen bee, that is mother problem, is to be identified, which is producing numerous offspring and keeping all bees of the honeycomb busy in their upkeep. Chapter 6. Awakening can establish a new world order. Small, casual, local, and personal problems may be analyzed and resolved with lesser efforts, whereas to find solution to problem pervading the entire social structure, it becomes necessary to make extensive preparation. A water tap may be adequate for supplying water for domestic or small community requirements, but for permanent irrigation of large expansion of arid lands, large projects are needed. This is exactly what Bhagirath had attempted to do. He had tightened his belt to release the water from the reservoir trapped in the Himalaya and succeeded in spreading it over a large area in the form of Ganga. With the arrangement of adequate water supply, the entire area of influence of river thus turned into a trace of beauty and prosperity. Though the so called intelligent and powerful leaders are aware of problems and needs of the society, but while looking for the solution, they regard this world as merely a grocery shop decorated with various type of merchandise, where all can be set right simple by rearrangements and replacements of undesirable with desirables. Generally, this is the direction of present reform movements. Attempts are being made to find some such new gas which could neutralize atmospheric pollution. Solution to food deficiency is being sought in mass production of fertilizers for providing a tenfold yield in crops. It is surprising why none is thinking of the roots of the problem, which is essential for taking care of growing needs, discontentments, and discord. Treatment of a superficial wound is not difficult, but when it is required to treat blood cancer, the real problem arises. Everyone faces numerous physical, mental, financial, and family problems appearing each day in newer and newer shape. To cope up with these problems, one has to develop the analytical capability to such a level which can seek and adopt adequate measures in a routine manner, like daily discarding of litter and waste material from the house. As a matter of fact, thinking pattern, character, and behavior of a man has gone totally haywire. In a state bordering of insanity, he has begun to act irresponsible and thereby creating problems for his own self as well as for others. The task is therefore twofold. The damage already done has to be rectified, whereas at the same time, the apprehended tendency of madness in mankind is to be curbed. Man should now plan to take care of problems and prepare himself to face them. Despair will only make him susceptible to terrorizing apprehensions. Here, this is to be kept in mind that generally people are concerned about their personal problems only, whereas problems of this magnitude are to be faced with cooperative efforts. When there are floods or epidemics, nothing short of public cooperation works. Scriptures have referred to such mass movements of the past as dawn of golden age, that is Yug Parivartan or incarnation of divinity. Great revivals of this magnitude are also called mega revolution, Mahakranti. Revolution emerged as a struggle against undesirable elements. On the other hand, mega revolution, Mahakranti, necessitate much foresight for future plans. The struggle against injustice continues along with formulation of plans and their implementation for establishing the new order. Presently, great changes are taking place in the invisible world of establishing a new world order. We may regard these changes as precursor of a happy and prosperous 21st century. Although apparently utopian, the task of bringing in a total transformation in the mass thinking of 600 crores, that is 6,000 million of humanity, inhabiting vast and wildly separated area of the world in conformity with desirable objective should not be considered as impossible. There has been many such revivals in the past. When mankind falls in despair, it is invigorated by infusion of new courage. On such occasions in the past, tempestuous wind of change have blown and succeed in ushering in the golden glow of the rising sun by dispersing dark clouds of adversity. On full moon night, when the high tides approach their maximum intensity, it appears as though they are ultimately going to succeed in emptying the entire ocean in space. This is only a small exhibition of nature's energy. In his wildest imagination, man cannot think of such stupendous feats which are only a child's play for force of nature. It is well known that with its power, nature is ever busy and casually creating and destroying enormous stars and planets in the universe. Believers in existence and omnipotence of the Creator should not have the least doubt that He can wipe out all that is undesirable and unethical, irrespective of dimensions. Though man has exhibited his meanness in creating utter chaos and disorder, the founder of this beautiful planet will not permit him to make it desolate by mechanization of evil schemes. No doubt the devilish acts of the wicked create terror. Nevertheless, the force of divinity entrusted with protection of the universe and maintenance of natural equilibrium in the creation are also not totally inactive. Waves of death are creating havoc and claiming millions of life every moment. Nevertheless, the God of creation has been accepting the challenge, and always more persons have taken birth than those who lost lives. Had it not been so, there would have been a discontinuity in the growth of living beings, and gradually all species would have become extinct. However, this has not happened. All living beings continue to perpetuate their species. Such realities are reassuring that, in spite of worse circumstances creating despair and despondency, none of the thinkers should lose heart. No one should presume that corrupt thinking and corrupt action are intrinsic human behavior. Periodically, mankind has been experiencing revolutionary changes in mass behavior which brought in a new spring with sprouting of new leaves, new birds, and new fruits and flowers all around. The creativity of superhumans, God man, philosophers, and reformers is comparable to that of monsoon, which appears to take a pledge to grow numerous new types of vegetation, species of plants, and biological creatures. In not too far future, a new generation of creative intellectual is going to emerge within this multitude of humanity which will draft the achievements of all saints, reformers, and marshals known till now. End of part 3. Jai Gurudev.